Right now, somewhere in the world, 2 billion cups of coffee are being poured. This global routine has its documented start in the 15th century Yemeni prayer halls, where Sufi mystics drank it to stay awake through the night while reciting the name of God. The most popular origin story is the legend of Kaldi, an Ethiopian goat herder who noticed his flock becoming unusually energetic after eating red berries. It is a charming piece of folklore, but there is no archaeological or written evidence to support it. Historians treat it as a cultural myth rather than documented history. The physical reality of the plant begins here, in the highland forests of Ethiopia. This is the Kaffa region, where wild coffee trees still grow today and likely gave the plant its name. Long before anyone thought to brew a drink, communities in these highlands used the plant for energy in a different way. They mixed the raw berries with animal fat to create a solid, high-energy food source used for survival. Turning a chewed berry into a brewed beverage required a deliberate change in how the plant was used. The transition to roasting and boiling the seeds was a specific response to a new set of needs, rather than a discovery made by chance. The practice of roasting and brewing coffee moved from Ethiopia across the Red Sea to Yemen. In the 15th century, Sufi scholars like Sheikh Ali ibn Umar al-Shadili prepared the first recorded cups of roasted coffee in Mocha. These Sufi orders required intense focus for dhikr, long sessions of devotional recitation lasting through the night. Maintaining alertness through hours of prayer was a practical challenge that coffee's stimulant properties helped solve. By roasting the beans and then boiling them, they extracted a liquid designed to sharpen concentration. This allowed worshippers to sustain their mental and physical energy during the most exhausting parts of their ritual. The drink was called kahwa, because it produced an energized state of mind. Without violating Islamic prohibitions on alcohol, some scholars poetically described it as the wine of Islam. What is now a global commodity began as a targeted solution for a religious community. It was a practical means of sustaining devotional practices that would otherwise be physically impossible to maintain overnight. Coffee soon moved beyond the prayer halls. By the early 16th century, it had reached Mecca, Cairo, and Istanbul. As it spread, the first coffee houses emerged, often appearing near centers of learning like Al-Azhar University. This rapid popularity sparked a backlash. Religious authorities issued fatwas against the drink, debating whether the stimulant effect was similar to alcohol or if the roasting process itself made the beans forbidden. Political leaders had a different fear. Coffee houses became social spaces where people gathered to talk, and those conversations often turned to the government. Rulers began to see these shops as places where dissent and criticism could grow unchecked. In the 17th century, Ottoman Sultan Murad IV ordered the coffee houses closed. He viewed them as a threat to his administration, and historical accounts describe severe punishments for those who defied the ban. Within 2 centuries, coffee's social role had shifted. It was no longer just a quiet aid for religious study. It had become a catalyst for public debate and political friction. Yemen controlled global supply by funneling all exports through Mocha. To prevent competition, authorities boiled the beans, rendering them infertile. This monopoly broke when pilgrim Baba Budan smuggled 7 fertile seeds to India. Soon after, the Dutch established plantations in Java, ending Yemen's exclusive control. This struggle to protect a local resource ended up triggering a wave of international espionage that moved coffee across the globe. This 17th century map shows the trade routes that finally brought coffee into Europe through Venice. From there, it spread to France, England, and Holland, with coffee houses opening across Western European cities by the late 1600s. These European coffee houses served the same function they had in Istanbul and Cairo. They became centers for intellectual and political debate, often viewed with the same suspicion by local authorities. As the Dutch and later other European powers moved cultivation to their colonies, coffee shifted from a devotional tool to a major commercial commodity. It became a primary driver of international trade, and eventually becoming the second most traded commodity on Earth after oil. This global expansion came with a biological reality. The vast majority of Arabica coffee grown today still shares the same genetic lineage. In fact, most of the beans used in modern production trace their DNA directly back to that original Yemeni stock. When you hold a cup of coffee today, you are participating in a practice first documented in the 15th century. Your morning routine is a direct continuation of the rituals established by those mystics of Yemen 600 years ago.